So that leads on nicely to the conversation around employee experience. When we spoke last week, you quite rightly said that only 18% of the employee experience really comes from HR processes and technology. So I'd really like to understand how you involve the rest of the business in kind of that whole employee experience journey.
Yeah, I mean, I will start off by saying, David, and again, we discussed it, employee experience is absolutely critical. We've been talking a lot about it in our industry. We've been talking a lot about it within Standard Chartered Bank. And, I talk about having a product owner mindset. And, if you look at our consumers today, if the way they're consuming products externally, experience is a massive part of it. If you don't focus on experience, it's really a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
I use product ownership quite deliberately because we have to remember that in HR, we are also product owners where employment is the product. And one of the things I keep telling my team is some of the principles around client centricity, how do we design products, how do we think of experience, need to be absolutely the same. So, that for me is almost a starting pitch. I quoted to you a research, which I must say it didn't surprise me, but the numbers did sort of stagger me a little bit. We focus so much of HR transformation on our systems and our processes, but actually having a really slick system where you can go and apply leave and your manager approves it, while it's really important, that does contribute maximum 18%, up to 18% to the overall experience. So, if you look at the workforce today and the future of work, there are so many other things, right? I mean, it starts off with premises, technology, collaboration tools, right? The way people are engaging outside of work, they want that same experience inside work.
Yep, that's right.
We found job impact is one of the top 5 EVP drivers for us in Standard Chartered. For colleagues to be able to deliver the best job impact, they need slick org design, they need efficient work processes, they need better technology. So when you start thinking of employee experience as a collection of all of this, some of it owned by HR, many not, the question really comes to who really owns employee experience in the company. And, I've led quite a bit of discussion around this, around our management team. I do believe having the alignment really helps. So having a very clear purpose, and an EVP and a CVP, or employee value proposition and customer value proposition aligned to that purpose, ensures that employee experience doesn't become an HR thing. It becomes the thing in the company. And I think, some of the definitional work that I spoke about is actually quite important to get the narrative inside the organization aligned. So when we talk about employee experience now, our head of technology, our COO, head of property supply chain management use the same language to talk about it that I do, and which is hugely important. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing that we have done, to be fair, we are still in the process of doing, is actually mapping out all of our employee journeys. So if you sort of map out the employee journeys with specific focus on moments that matter, actually it becomes a much more cross-functional conversation, because a large part of some of the journeys are HR owned, but there are large parts of the journey which are not owned by HR.
Yeah.
So mapping the journey and bringing in other stakeholders in the debate, keeping in mind how our client value proposition coincides with the employee value proposition is I think, the way we are approaching it. Finally, it's the power of data and analytics, right? We have been able to conclusively prove that where we have evidenced higher employee experience, it has resulted in higher client experience. And actually bringing those data points together in service of the broader culture conversation, throwing that back into the organization and actually making those relations, the correlation between them, I think is quite important as well.
So it's almost like HR is the conductor of defining and delivering the employee experience, but you need the orchestra, which is the rest of the business, with you to help define it, but then the delivery part.
Absolutely. And as I keep saying, how to get the organization to the place that employee experience is not an HR thing. It is the thing in the company. Requires huge orchestration, I think, by the HR organization.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.